Well, let's cross over to Abuja now, where Honorable Asake is standing by. Honorable Asake, let me come to you as the Director of Research and Strategy, Southern Kaduna Indigenous Progressive Forum. What can you tell us particularly about what happened in Southern Kaduna, again, at the backdrop of issues that deal with even the identities of these herdsmen? Who really would you say they are, and what really happened in Southern Kaduna? Let's hear from the horse's mouth.
Thank you. What happened in Southern Kaduna, as you must have known, is not what happened on Christmas Eve alone. Southern Kaduna is not just one place. Southern Kaduna constitutes more than 12 local governments of the 23 local governments of Kaduna State, mind you, because we have 3 senatorial districts in Kaduna State, and we have the Southern Kaduna Senatorial District that is called Zone 3, which constitutes 8 local governments, and that is where basically the people that are referred to as Southern Kaduna people, because of their ethnicity, because of their religion, which is different from that of the Hausa Fulani, reside. And we also have Chukun local government and Kajuru local government, 2 local governments in the Central Senatorial District that basically has the people of Southern Kaduna also. The major tribes there, the Kadara people and the Bagi people, are the occupiers of those local governments. So making 10, then we have Lere local government presently, which was Saminaka local government, which was part of the initial 3 local governments that constitute the old Southern Kaduna Senatorial District. And we have Kaduna Central itself. So the Southern Kaduna, when you talk of Southern Kaduna, I want to just correct that it is not just a small area or a town. Southern Kaduna is a very large area, is bigger than many states in this federation. Now, if you ask about what has been happening, I don't know, there are so many crises that have taken place. We have the first crisis, ethno-religious crisis that took place. The first one took place in 1981 in Kaswamagani, a town very close to Kaduna. And it was between, like I said, Kaswamagani is in Chukun local government, and that crisis was between the ethnic nationalities, the Kadara people, and the Hausa Fulani settlers there. And that crisis was basically between the 2 communities. And then in 1987, a crisis erupted from Kafanchan, specifically in the College of Education. That crisis emanated because a preacher was preaching in the college, a Christian preacher, and then there was a reaction from the Muslim Students Union there, and that crisis escalated to all of the parts of the state. That was 1987. Then there was the Zangon Kataf crisis in 1992. That Zangon Kataf crisis again happened in Zangon Kataf town. That is a local government, one of the 8 local governments in the Southern Senatorial District. And that was between the Hausa Fulani community there and the natives of the Kataf people in that region. So we know it as Zangon Kataf crisis, which actually is very popular. And then we continued to 2001 with the Sharia crisis, when Sharia was declared in Zamfara by the then Governor Ahmed Yarima. The waves of that came over to Kaduna, and there was a major crisis in 2001. Then it had continued. But the recent crisis that we're talking about is different, for God's sake. These attacks that we are having, that they call Herdsmen Attacks, is different. And these attacks have their history also. The state that has suffered most of these attacks that I know is Plateau State. We started hearing of these attacks in Plateau, and Plateau is very close to Southern Kaduna, mind you. And it went from village to village to village. And how is the modus operandi of these attacks? A village is sleeping at night. By 12 a.m. or 1 a.m., a group of people are not sleeping. They are planning how to attack the village. And they go and fire their gunshots in the night, and people wake up and they set their houses ablaze, and as they are running, dragging their children running, trying to run from danger. They will be gunning them down and hacking them with machetes. And you wake up and find out that the casualty is only in the hundreds. It happened village after village after village. The popular one in Plateau was the one in Dogonahawa that happened in 2012. But by and by, these attacks came over to southern Kaduna. And it started in Zangon-Kata local government, and it went over to Kaura local government in Atakar, which is a border between Plateau and Kaduna state. Village after village after village were being sacked in that same manner. And up to the one we're talking about today, the one that happened recently on the eve of Christmas, which was a town that was attacked. The town is named Goska. And while they were preparing for Christmas, those same people came and attacked the village and sacked the village and killed many people. Now, that is commonplace. That is common knowledge to everybody. But what matters to me is the various narratives that we've had. When these night attacks, I call them, started, the narrative was that, oh, unidentified gunmen. They started. We have had such attacks in Plateau, in Taraba, in Adamawa, in Nasarawa, in Plateau, Agatu particularly, and all the Tips areas. And they have even gone over to Enugu. And yesterday I even read that they killed some people in Delta, the same pattern. Now what is the narrative? They said unidentified gunmen. Unidentified gunmen, then they moved to saying, oh, it is a clash between farmers and cattle rearers. And they will say reprisal attacks. And all these various narratives. But I want to say one thing. All these narratives are conspiracy theories. They have the same agenda. The sponsors of these attacks have the same agenda with the Boko Haram agenda. Boko Haram and these Herdsmen attacks are two sides of the same coin. They are two heads of the same deadly snakes. And what is the agenda? While Boko Haram on one side is aspiring, has the inordinate ambition of establishing an Islamic caliphate where Sharia is the supreme law and everybody is under Sharia, not under the constitution. The Herdsmen attacks is a continuation of the jihad of 1804 started by Usman Dan Fodio, which was ethno-religious cleansing, taking over of ancestral lands of people that are believed to be infidels, the ethnic nationalities that are believed to be unbelievers. And that is the continuation that is happening today. It's an entrenched agenda. All these narratives are just to hide, put the thing in a capsule, and then continue. But can't anybody say, come on, you look at the pattern of attacks, it's the same thing. But they will say, oh, cattle rustlers, we're looking for our cattle. Which cattle are being looked for from Plateau, Taraba, Adamawa, Nasarawa, up to this very day is the same pattern.
Honorable Asake, let me squeeze in a question at this point. Now, we know that there have been measures taken by the Kaduna state government to reduce these attacks or put a stop to these attacks. We're talking about curfew, we're talking about arrests being made, as well as security operatives being in different parts of the troubled areas to make sure these attacks don't occur again. How successful have these measures been, and what are the outcomes of the investigations, various investigations carried out, and the people arrested?
Well, I would not be able to tell how successful because I'm not in government. I'm not a governor. I'm not a traditional ruler. I'm just an indigene of that place. But to the best of my knowledge, up to last night, attacks were still taking place. I was woken up in the night that an attack took place in Zutrum, in my own local government, Zangon Kataf. The day before yesterday, a man who had gone to church, a village head in Aso village, near Kagoma, Jamal local government, his name is Kennedy. He's a village head. And he had gone to church to mourn, wearing his black and black. And when he was coming back, he was gone down by the same herdsmen. So attacks are still going on. In a village in Kagoro, Kaura local government, on your way to Jos, 2 youth were killed, and then the day before yesterday again, 3 dead bodies were taken. So they are still killing. So I don't know how successful that has been. But one thing I know is that the governor is not sincere in what he is doing. Governor El-Rufai is actually not coordinating well. He is not really doing what he should do as a leader by his utterances. He is not speaking as a leader, and he is not helping matters.
Tell us about, I mean, you're a former member of the House of Representatives. Let me read out just, you know, your credentials for a bit. Former Special Assistant, National Assembly Matters to former President Olusegun Obasanjo, Director, Research and Strategy, Southern Kaduna Indigenous Progressive Forum. I mean, he talked about the political will to deal with these issues. At your level, who also has some political access, what have you done in terms of the resolution to this, whether at state or federal level, and what is the response like?
Well, we have done everything possible. Everything possible. Meaning, we've gone to the community level, we've had meetings, we've told the people. But you see, as a politician and as a community leader, you can only have a solution to a problem that is a friction between 2 parties. But in this case, like I told you, the history of crisis, which I actually differentiated from the present attacks that we are having, the crisis that is between 2 communities, maybe the Hausa Fulani community and the engineering community of the people of Southern Kaduna, that one you can broker peace between the 2, and which we have been doing all this while. But this one is an unprovoked attack, premeditated, planned and sponsored, that people are sleeping in the night, you don't know what you are doing. That is why when they made this attack, you ask the villagers, what have you done? They say they don't know. But you find a narrative coming from the local Fulanis that they are owning up that yes, they kill our cows, or they wrestle our cows, or we had a conflict, and they own up to it, and they even make press releases. But all that one is a smoke screen. The sponsors of this genocide know exactly what their agenda is all about.